Let's open the book on this. What if the Detroit Tigers' pitching ace became the fastest to reach 1,000 strikeouts in franchise history?
Hey, it's Garrett, feeling excited about today's topic.
And I'm Leah, totally eager to dive into this fascinating story. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
All right, let's set the stage for this one. We're talking Tarik Skubal, the left-handed pitcher who debuted with the Detroit Tigers in 2020, became one of the sport's premier starters, and then, like a late plot twist, was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers in August 2026. 2 straight American League Cy Young Awards in 2024 and 2025. A full-season pitching triple crown in 2024. That's pretty much the grand slam of pitching, right?
This one's been on my mind. Speaking of roots, picture this. I played Little League out in California for a couple seasons, and it was, dusty fields, borrowed gloves, and a coach who swore sunflower seeds fix everything. Skubal did a couple of years in Northern California too, representing Cordelia and the Tri-Valley area. Those early runs matter. Even if you're just learning to field a grounder, it teaches rhythm, confidence, and how to compete. It's like tiny building blocks that suddenly make sense when you watch a guy mow down major leaguers years later.
Let's dig into this. Tarik Skubal is a lefty starter, now with the Dodgers, who made his name in Detroit. His pitching style is a full toolkit. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam sinker, slider, changeup, and a knuckle curve. Since 2023, that changeup basically became the headline act. People talk about seam-shifted wake, which is a fancy way of saying the seams mess with the air around the ball, so it moves in tricky, not quite expected ways. It got hitters to chase and either miss or hit weakly. In 2025, MLB.com even described it as the most valuable pitch in baseball, with a plus 25 run value. That's like a pitch carrying a whole season's highlight reel on its back.
Right? And to translate the numbers a bit. In 2025, hitters batted just .156 against his changeup with a 47% whiff rate. That means basically half the time they swung, they missed. It complements his fastballs because you can't just sit on one speed or one shape. It's like someone keeps changing the locks on a door while you're trying to get inside. And his triple crown in 2024, leading in wins, ERA, and strikeouts, really is the grand slam of pitching accolades. It takes dominance plus durability plus some team support for the wins piece.
Okay, here's where we begin. Skubal was born in November 1996 in Hayward, California. Sports ran deep in the family. He's of paternal Czech descent, and his dad was an elementary school teacher and a retired coach. That combo, big family, a parent who knows coaching, often helps keep you grounded when, the road gets bumpy.
He grew up loving the Oakland Athletics, which makes sense for a Bay Area kid. Then he moved to Kingman, Arizona, and went to Kingman Academy of Learning. The different competition scene mattered. It set him up for Seattle University, which, wild detail, was the only Division I program to offer him a scholarship. One offer. That's it. And he goes on to become a collegiate baseball freshman All-American in 2015. That's a story worth telling.
Then the tough part. He had Tommy John surgery, missing most of 2016 and all of 2017. For anyone new, Tommy John is a surgery to repair the ulnar collateral ligament in the elbow. It's common for pitchers, but recovery can be a long road. The Diamondbacks drafted him in the 29th round in 2017 while he was coming back, but he didn't sign. He returned to Seattle U, and that choice let him rebuild value.
And rebuild he did. In 2018, he led the team with 106 strikeouts over 80 innings, though he did walk 56, which shows he was still finding control. Detroit took him in the 9th round, 255th overall, signing him for $350,000. He goes into pro ball and just, slams the door. 2018 across 3 levels, he posts a 0.40 ERA. That's ridiculous for a first taste of the minors.
Then, 2019 was liftoff. He jumped from High A Lakeland to Double A Erie. In his first 3 Erie starts, he put up a 0.56 ERA with 34 strikeouts in 16 innings. MLB.com bumped him from number 20 in the Tigers' preseason list to number 4 midseason. He finished Double-A with a 2.13 ERA and a .168 opponent's average, and overall struck out 179 hitters in 2019. That's a whole lot of swings and misses.
Then came 2020, that strange season. He got the spring invite, then debuted in August 2020. He earned his first win later that month against the Twins. The rookie line was, bumpy, 5.63 ERA in 32 innings, but here's the nugget. His cutter averaged the highest velocity among MLB pitchers that season, per Baseball 7. That's a hint that the raw tools were special even while the results were still catching up.
2021, you could see the gears meshing. Manager A.J. Hinch, he's the Tigers' skipper. He put him in the opening day rotation. He notched 100 strikeouts before the All-Star break, the first Tigers rookie to do so. By late September, he'd hit 200 career strikeouts in only 38 appearances, the fastest any Tigers pitcher reached that mark. The ERA was 4.34, but the strikeout engine was roaring.
In 2022, he looked like he was leveling up. 3.52 ERA and a tidy 1.16 whip, which is walks plus hits per inning, basically how many base runners you allow. Then arm fatigue, then flexor tendon surgery in August. That's a surgery on the forearm tendons that help with stability and mechanics. Season over, I remember thinking, okay, is this a reset or the start of something new?
Turns out, the start of something new. He returned in July 2023 and absolutely shoved. In September, he was the AL Pitcher of the Month with a 0.90 ERA in his final 5 starts. His season line, 2.80 ERA in 15 starts, elite in expected ERA metrics, basically screamed that the arsenal had leveled up, not just bounced back.
And then 2024, the masterpiece. Opening day, 6 shutout innings. In late April, he had 41 strikeouts with just 6 walks in his first 6 starts. In May, he became the first Tigers pitcher in over 100 years to strike out 12 without a walk, against the Yankees no less. The last guy to do it for Detroit was Eric Erickson, back in 1918, a pitcher from the early 20th century. He made the All-Star team, tossed a clean inning there, and then finished the season 18-4 with a 2.39 ERA and 228 strikeouts. That's the full-season Triple Crown in the AL, first since 2011, and he won the Cy Young unanimously.
October backed it up. He tossed 6 scoreless in the wild card against the Astros, veteran playoff team, and logged a 2.37 ERA across 19 postseason innings. That's the kind of translation from regular season to postseason you want from an ace. Then 2025 rolls around, and he's still that dude. Opening day loss to the Dodgers, who were the defending champs, but he keeps rolling. In May 2025, he throws a Maddox, a complete game shutout under 100 pitches. He needed only 94 pitches and struck out 13. That combo of efficiency and whiffs is rare.
He was the first to 200 strikeouts that year. Again, he made another All-Star game, even started it. Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, tabbed him, and while that inning didn't go his way, the respect was clear. By season's end, he led the AL in ERA again at 2.21, punched out 241, had the best whip in MLB at 0.891, and led baseball in strikeout-to-walk ratio. That's like precision engineering. In the playoffs, he tied a Tigers record with 14 strikeouts in the wild card, and in the ALDS Game 5, a winner-take-all, he set a record with 13 strikeouts and even ran off 7 in a row at one point. Then, Cy Young number 2.
And the pitch powering so much of this stayed that changeup. League best run value in 2025, hitters at .156 against it, 47% whiffs. It's the pitch you'd circle on a scouting report, then still struggle to square up because of the late, funny movement. The slider variation, the harder turbo look, plus the four-seam and sinker shapes created this rock, paper, scissors you couldn't solve in time.
Then 2026 brought a different kind of headline. He sets a new arbitration record at $32 million. Arbitration is that process where a player and team submit salary figures and a panel picks one. He beat the Tigers' offer by a lot, and it even surpassed the old MLB arbitration mark. That tells you how the market values a top starter in his peak. He started opening day, dealt with loose bodies in the elbow, little fragments that can irritate the joint, had surgery in May, and came back in 6 weeks. That's quick, which suggests it was a cleanup more than a major rebuild.
Then in July 2026, he recorded his 1,000th career strikeout by getting Taylor Ward of the Orioles. By innings pitched, 857, he's the fastest in Tigers history to reach 1,000 Ks. By games played, 153, he's the second fastest lefty in MLB history to do it, behind only Randy Johnson at 152. Randy's a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest power lefties ever. That's wild company.
And then the trade. In August 2026, Detroit sends him to the Los Angeles Dodgers for 3 prospects: Zyhir Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. For clarity, those are young players the Dodgers had high hopes for. That package speaks to his value: back-to-back Cy Youngs, still dealing, still efficient. For LA, adding a lefty ace to a perennial contender is like playoff insurance. For Detroit, it's a move toward the future after extracting elite seasons.
So we've got this arc from overlooked 9th-round pick after a 29th-round detour to a dominant ace whose best pitch changes the way hitters guess. He's got the Triple Crown, 2 Cy Youngs, postseason records, an arbitration record, and a blockbuster trade. That's a lot of chapters in a short window.
Okay, let's move on to a question that keeps popping up. WAR, or wins above replacement, tries to roll a player's total value into one number. But there are different flavors. Baseball Reference tends to lean on runs actually allowed with park and defense adjustments. People call it RA9 based, while Fangraphs leans more on FIP, fielding independent pitching, which focuses on outcomes pitchers control most, like strikeouts, walks, hit batters, and home runs. Different recipes can yield different leaderboards even in the same season.
Here's a thought I've been turning over. I like the Fangraphs angle for predicting the future because it filters out some defense and luck. If a pitcher like Skubal posts elite strikeouts and tiny walk rates, FIP-based WAR says, yeah, that skill is sticky. For projecting how he'll do next year, it feels more stable to me. I mean, that's something to chew on, huh?
I hear you, but real talk, I lean toward the Baseball Reference side for describing what actually happened. Skubal's game features weak contact suppression thanks to that seam-shifted wake changeup. RA9-based WAR captures the actual runs prevented. If a guy is consistently getting soft grounders or flares, that's a skill in its own right, even if it's harder to separate from defense. Why should we assume it's just noise when the pattern shows up year to year?
Fair point. But let me push back a little. If a team's defense happens to be dialed in behind him for stretches, RA9 might boost his value beyond what he personally controls. And if we're comparing across pitchers on different teams, that gets messy fast. Isn't that where FIP helps keep the apples with the apples?
Totally fair. But then there's the park factor side. Baseball Reference tries to adjust for run environments and ballparks, and with Skubal, the evidence says hitters aren't squaring up his changeup. When MLB.com tags it as the most valuable pitch in 2025 with that plus 25 run value, it suggests the contact profile isn't just luck. Maybe the best answer is, both lenses matter. One for the story of what happened, one for the forecast of what might happen next.
Yeah, that checks out. And for Skubal specifically, the blend actually flatters him. He led in ERA and FIP in those peak years, with MLB best whip and strikeout-to-walk ratio. Whether you're RA9 or FIP, it's saying the same thing. This dude is a problem for hitters.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Wouldn't it be great if someone did a documentary on the comeback arc? Tommy John, the flexor tendon surgery, the changeup redesign, the 2024 Triple Crown, the 2025 playoff records, and then the 2026 trade to a Hollywood stage franchise? It's got resilience, design, and just enough plot twists to keep you rooting for the next chapter.
All right, let's roll on to a what if. What if Skubal had signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2017 while rehabbing? Different organization, different development timeline. Arizona might have been more cautious or more aggressive, who knows? The D-backs could have wound up with a lefty ace entering the mid-2020s, and the Tigers maybe never see that 2019 strikeout explosion in their system.
And then, think of the ripple effects. If he never lands with Detroit, do we get the 2024 full-season AL Triple Crown in a Tigers uniform? Maybe not. The Tigers' postseason runs in 2024 and 2025 look very different without him leading those rotations. Also, if he's not stacking those Cy Youngs in Detroit, does that 2026 arbitration record even happen? The comps change. The salary number might too.
On the flip side, Arizona might have tailored his pitch design differently. Maybe the changeup still becomes the star, or maybe a different pitch takes the lead. But timing is everything. If the elbow recovery and the organization's timeline didn't sync just right, we could be talking about a later breakout, fewer innings by 2026, and maybe no Dodgers trade because the market value didn't peak the same way.
Real talk, it shows how one choice, sign now versus return to school, can reshape years of baseball history for two franchises. Detroit capitalized on an inefficiency, developed him post-surgery, and watched him become an ace. Then moved him for a 3-prospect package to kickstart a new timeline. Meanwhile, Los Angeles lands a ready-made October arm. That's a thread worth pulling on.
Stay curious, folks, and keep exploring those rabbit holes.
And remember, learning is always a journey. Until next time,